You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, guys and gals, we are going to talk about the Arizona Cardinals, and we got a couple of different things involving the Cardinals. Number one, we're going to talk about Kyler Murray's future first, because some believe this weekend against the Rams, if it is a possible pivot point. What I mean by that is, if they lose, it becomes an almost certainty that the Cardinals may move on from Kyler Murray and, of course, draft a quarterback. Many think that'll be Caleb Williams, depending on where they land. But as we've talked about with other organizations in other videos, there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft, and there's 4, 5, 6. There's potentially 4 just in the first round, maybe 5 in the first round. This is going to be the deepest NFL draft quarterback class we've ever seen. And then we're going to talk on a side note about another report that came out about the Cardinals organization and the fact that they have a culture of fear. And then the fact about that the NFL currently has no comment on it, which seems rather interesting. Okay, no comment. You're trying to tell me a Bidwell organization, run organization, owned organization's a train wreck? Say it ain't so. Yeah, now I think we all know exactly what this means. So let's get to this. I got a couple of different places with this Kyler Murray situation, but this is certainly going to get interesting. This is Outkick. The blaring speculation, that's all it is at this point from around the NFL, is that the Cardinals will be trying to move on from Kyler Murray before the 2024 season begins. I think they will try to move on before the season begins, but I do not think they will trade him in season this year before the trade deadline. I do not. I think it'll be somewhere up around the draft. That's what some NFL people are telling Outkick. That's what others are apparently whispering to other media asking about the Cardinals quarterback. But that is not coming from inside the Cardinals organization. So everyone is, sharing an educated guess. Well, there's a lot of factors. There's a contract here. And, of course, with the draft coming, I mean, what are you going to do? Keep Kyler Murray, make him your backup quarterback on that contract? I don't think so. Then you shoot yourself in the foot with the fact that you can save all that money while you're developing a new quarterback. Here's my educated guess, and this is Armando Seguero, so he's one of the best. His educated guess, it would be surprising if the Cardinals trade Murray by the October 31st trade deadline. Wow, Halloween, okay. Should be interesting on this channel that day. Cardinals trading Murray at the deadline is difficult. The situation is fluid, according to a source, because there are so many unknowns. And resolving all those is what makes getting Murray out of the building and off the books, that's the key, the contract, by the deadline hard to fathom. A move by the time the 2024 draft comes around, however, is another matter. That is much more possible. So that takes us over here to turfshowtimes.com, where they talk about the fact that this weekend's game against the Rams may be a pivot point, okay? In other words, it may be a point of no return. I mean, let's face it. What is the only circumstance that you would activate Kyler Murray? If, say, by the time we get to week 8, which is when he can come off the PUP next, right? And you have to make a final decision by week 8. Don't you have to be a minimum a 500 ball club to activate him? Or over 500? I mean, like straight in playoff contention. Because if you're, and this says it, if the Cardinals lose to the Rams on Sunday, they fall to 1-5, inching closer to a guaranteed top 3 pick. Will the Arizona Cardinals have any choice but to consider starting over with quarterback? And I think they got multiple first-round picks. When will Kyler Murray play football, and will he ever be for an NFC West team again? Head coach Jonathan Giddens said this week that when Kyler Murray is ready to go, he'll go. and that he is chomping at the bit to return to the field. I'm sorry, I think that's front office / coach crap. Total coach talk. Okay? I think the smartest thing to do for them is going to be, if this year keeps going where it's going, you can't let him see the field again. It's irresponsible to let him see the field again. Because if he gets hurt again, you've got no trade value then. When asked by the radio host if he thinks Murray will play, quote, a decent amount of games this season, Gannon confidently responds without hesitation, I do. There's been speculation all year that the Cardinals might never activate Murray, who is recovering from a torn ACL suffered against the Patriots on December 12th, because another injury would make it impossible to trade or release him from his contract in 2024. In addition, there has been speculation that Arizona would rather, quote, tank for Caleb Williams than bring back Murray, as he played the worst football in his career in 2022 after signing a $230.5 million contract extension. Absolutely one of the worst contracts in the league. A deal that has been ridiculed online for a number of reasons, including the fact that it had a homework clause, which the Cardinals amended and removed after said jokes. I would not have taken it out. I wouldn't have taken it out. Murray posted career lows in nearly every passing category in 2022, went 3-8 as a starter, and Arizona fired a head coach who they hired specifically to turn him into an NFL superstar, Cliff Kingsbury. The fact is, Kyler Murray knew that offense. That offense was very similar to what he ran at Oklahoma. Now, I will say this, his completion percentage is good. It is 66.8%. That's solid. He even had a 69.2. But, I mean, if you come over here, this is his one postseason game. 19 for 34, 137, and 2 interceptions. And if anybody remembers that game, it didn't go that well. It didn't. It was a dumpster fire. And this was 2022. He was 25th in the league in passing yards. He was tied for 23rd in passing touchdowns and had 7 picks. So it was not a great year or even a good year for Kyler Murray before he got injured, and we know he's a mobile quarterback, so are you opening yourself up for, yet again, another injury? Not only that, but Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, for that matter, they look to be very good NFL quarterbacks. So it's interesting. This weekend is the pivot point. Very quickly, let's go over to this other report that dropped earlier from The Athletic, because there's been a lot of turmoil behind the scenes when it comes to the owner and the employees that worked for him, either current or former. So I've got Florio on both of these. On the field, the Cardinals are better than many have expected. They've been very competitive. They have been. I thought they'd be the worst team in the league. They're not. Hell, that may be the Patriots. Off the field, the struggles continue. KYLER, really, of theathletic.com has taken a close look at the alleged, quote, culture of fear within the Cardinals organization. The story begins with an account of an employee survey that, quote, disappeared in the thin air. Oh, no. Apparently because the responses tore owner Michael Bidwell to shreds. KYLER spoke to more than a dozen current or former employees who provided details about the situation, all who were granted, as you can imagine, anonymity due to the fears of retaliation by Bidwell. And Bidwell is the common denominator in the complaints. So everybody they talked to didn't have shit good to say about this Cardinals owner. He comes off as unpredictable, erratic in the information provided by employees. The report also contains information suggesting a different standard was applied to female employees. Quote, there's a lot of cubicles outside of his main office. You can't really speak normally most of the time. One former employee told KYLER, yeah, but you know what? I worked in the corporate world for years. That's common everywhere. Everybody always peeks out to see if the boss is there. You know, is the director here today? Yeah, let me look around. I don't see him yet. I mean, that's one reason I always liked to work on Saturdays back in the day. Big boy management wasn't there. I was the big boy management. So that made my day a lot easier. I knew I wasn't getting my ass ripped that day. Quote, like you have to peek and see. Is Michael in here today? Can you act normal? Can you not? It's so unpredictable. Sometimes he is in a good mood. Sometimes he's not. Well, that's sort of human behavior, but okay. As to the survey, a team spokesperson provided this statement to KYLER. The 2019 survey was not ignored. In fact, significant action was taken on the basis of feedback, the most prominent of which was the creation of a chief people officer role. Oh, good God. Some changes were immediate, like employees' wellness initiatives announced in February of 2020, just before COVID shut down the country. Others took longer as a result of the pandemic. Wow. So, a culture of fear, that's still never a great look for an organization. So, here's what the NFL said. Quote, we decline to comment. Chief NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said by email, I guess to Florio, I'm sure he asked him. No NFL franchise wants to be investigated. It's like being audited. The investigator shows up looking for something and the investigator potentially finds anything. The next thing you know, the owner is forced to sell. Here's the problem with a lot of situations and reports like this. A lot of times it is disgruntled employees, right? I'm sure any NFL offices, any environment like that, look, corporate work is a pressure cooker, folks. You go to work and you're stressed out for 10 hours, 12 hours a day. It is what it is. You got your head on a swivel. Somebody could walk in at any point and say, we're boxing your shit up. We're going to walk you out. It's just part of the process. It is what it is. And I'm not sure a lot of people in today's society has the mental fortitude to always help be able to handle that. It makes me wonder. Now, do I think it's potentially a poorly run organization? Yeah, but I'm really talking about it more from the football side, not what's going on behind the scenes with everyday business where people are in there, you know, pushing pins and paperwork. I don't know about that part, so I can't speak on it, but you never know. I'm always skeptical of some of these reports where you've got former employees that are likely disgruntled and some current ones that maybe suck at their job and they get their ass reamed on a regular basis. That's just as keeping it real as I can get. You know, for all I know, Michael Bidwell is a pleasure. Somehow I doubt it. Somehow I feel like he could be a train wreck. He may be the second coming of Dan Snyder. But we don't know that. We don't know that. Now, the football side, yeah, that's very suspect. And generally, when you got a shaky owner, Jimmy Haslam, anybody, then you've got some potential issues on the football side. And if I'm a fan, that's really the part I care about, is the football side. Have you gotten your hirings right? Jonathan Gannon, kind of like him. Thought I wasn't going to. But so far, the way he's had that team competitive, I'm pretty shocked, to be honest with you. But pleasantly so. And if I'm a Cardinals fan, I think I feel pretty good about him as a head coach right now. Who knew? There was a time when people thought Nick Sirianni was going to be a train wreck. The Eagles are really damn good and have been. You never know. You never know. By the way, Gannon came from Sirianni. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.